What's going on, everybody? I know it's Thursday, and I'm doing an interview. The guy I'm interviewing today, I believe, is a truck driver. So we're going to find out. But I has only a certain amount of days, so I'm just doing a special during the week just to accommodate our schedules. But we're going to meet Joe. I want to say Fritz is his last name. And we'll get him to plug all his social media and Facebook pages. Pretty cool individual that so far. So here's Joe. What's going on, Joe?
Hey, man. How's it going?
So what is it you actually do for work, right?
Yeah, I own my own semi-rig, the 2017 T680 Kenworth, and I lease to Dart Transit out of Eagan, Minnesota, and my main account is Hobby Lobby, actually.
Oh, really? That could be.
It's expensive.
Good or bad?
Yeah, I love the account, man. I mean, it's just, you know where you're going to be all the time as far as, you're always going back to Oklahoma City at the end of your run. I could go anywhere from, New York to California and anywhere in between, one way out, and then you always know where you're going back. So, it makes for a really nice gig.
No, that's really cool. Now, how does that job help you or hinder you in the hobby?
As far as the job itself and what I enjoy building, I have a lot of insights to trucks, and it allows me to know things about a lot of these, a lot about the hobby that most probably wouldn't know. What color the airlines are supposed to be, where they're supposed to be located, what you can and can't get away with as far as heights and lengths and stuff like that. Though some of my builds have been
wait.
really long.
Wait, back up. What do you mean by links? Wait, what do you mean by that?
Wheelbase.
Oh, wheelbase. Okay.
Wheelbase links. Like a little earlier I showed you the cab over. That is a cab over legally, and it's going to be about as far as you can possibly get legally. You do have show trucks. I have a couple of them that I built that are show trucks that you can't drive on the road if you were to actually have one in that link. Not without actual special permits. A lot of the placarding and things like that, that need to be done, on these trucks is like that. It helps you with that.
No, that's really cool. And I've seen some of the trucks you've been posting all kinds of things the last couple of days, right? Because you've been home,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
A lot of cool and detailed work. My question is how are you getting all those straight lines? Because I don't know if I can bring it up, but for sure. There's that Harley Davidson truck, or even the truck that's in front of you now. You have very detailed line. How are you getting those?
How can I explain it? Okay, number one, I'll use that. This is actual automotive tape. Okay, and I'll set it down and I will cut it to the lengths and thicknesses that I want to use. Okay, and I get this from an automotive store. And when I do that, a lot of it is eyeing it. I've done a lot of things in my life as far as work goes where, when you're doing, like I used to install floors, vinyl and hardwood and ceramic tile, where having exact straight lines was important. You have to know how to do that. You can grab a protractor and get those same lines if you really want to, mark things out and do this and do that. But most of the stuff that I do on these rigs, as far as the lines and this and that, are all by eye, and it's trial and error over and over and over again, and putting the tape down. And if you don't like it, pull it up, redo it again, over and over and over again. It's just patience, man, pure patience, and like I said, like with the one that I showed you earlier, the one sitting in front of me, it took me 2 days just to tape it off because I had to pull it apart and redo it, because I didn't like what it came out as until I got to this point. So yeah, it's just the straight lines. Like I said, mostly by eye.
I mean, because you look like even the picture in the background of us, you can see, I mean, they're crisp straight lines. And it just, I kind of wonder how you were getting those. Because a lot of people use that Tamiya tape. And the Tamiya tape, I've never used it. It worked. It's supposed to work really, really good. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people, don't have access to those things.
Yeah.
So I was just curious. Because that's a lot of what you build, right? Is semi trucks and regular, like pick 'em up trucks, right?
The semis, I do have a few of the pickup trucks. I really enjoy customizing. I hate building, I can't say hate because there ain't nothing about model building that I hate. But as far as box stock, usually I'll only do a box stock build when I'm frustrated or when I get to lose my patience with something. It'll take my mind off of my build long enough for me to want to get back to it. I see a lot of guys on, especially on social media, how do you get back into it? You lost the feel. I've done this, I've done that. And for me, like I said, grab a box, open it up, force yourself to build it. Just build it, box stock. Don't try anything special. Put some paint on it, put it together, and that allows me to get back to thinking about it. My job helps a lot because, I'll drive anywhere from 10 to 11 hours, behind the wheel every day, 6 days a week. So I've got that time to think in my head exactly what I want to do with the model I'm working on. Or in my case, a lot of times I'll work on 2 or 3 at the same time. If not more sometimes. Right now I'm working on 5. So I got, just that amount of time into it. So
you see a lot of different cars too. Have you tried to replicate anything you've seen, like driving down the road? I know you can't really take a picture of stuff very well, but
Mm-hmm. Not as far as cars go, trying to replicate something, a lot of rigs, but the cars, I own a 1953 Chevy lead sled. I inherited it, but my family's been in the custom car world longer than I've been around. So I've always had that going, and the one thing that has always got me is like one of my favorite cars in the world, 1970 Chevy Chevelle Pro Street. In my mind, I wish I could own one, but there, as far as trying to replicate, no, not really. How I build them is what inspires me at the time.
No, I mean, that's really, really cool because, you see all your work and you can tell there's definitely a passion there. So how did that start?
Oh Lord. I've been building since I was 7. I'm 53. I'll be 54 in December. I guess the real passion for what I'm doing today, I got hurt. I got in a truck accident. Some idiot crossed 3 lines of traffic and slammed into my truck. And I ended up with 3 broken ribs, and I ended up with a stent in my hip, and I lost a couple of toes and this and that, due to the accident. And I was laid up for about 6 months. After about 3 weeks, I was going crazy, man. And at that point, I just said, well, I'm just going to get back into this. And when I did, it was 16 hours a day I sat at that bench. And just really, really fell back in love with it so much, and like one of my very first builds was on my diorama. I don't know if you've seen that. Was just taking one and rusting it up, making it look really old, and it turned out so good. And it was like, man, I guess I didn't lose it, because I hadn't been building for like, I don't know, 10 or 15 years. Kind of the same story you hear a lot these days, right?
So that's really, really cool. So what was your first kit?
As a kid?
Yeah.
I think my uncle bought me a 1957 Chevy. And I was 7. My uncle bought it for me. And he grabbed me the wrong glue. And I put it together, man, in like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours. No paint, no nothing. Just glue it all together as fast as I possibly could. Turned out really good. Unfortunately, he gave me the wrong glue. And within about 3 hours of me finishing it, it was a pile of goo. It melted.
Whoa.
And I've literally been, hooked on models ever since, man.
So you said you like to customize a lot. So
Yeah.
What's your favorite tool for doing that? Or you just use
my favorite tool would be the Dremel. My Dremel, man. I mean, when it comes to my fenders, 90% of them fenders are done with that Dremel. Any of my aging, rusting is done with that Dremel. Cleaning parts, cleaning the little edges off. Once you clip it off the sprue, take that Dremel, just touch it just a touch, and it cleans it up better than what a knife will. So I'd have to say that's the one tool that I use the most.
I will say this just because I have a Dremel. I have the multi-speed one. You've got to have some pretty precise, touch for that, right?
Oh yeah. You got to you got to practice with it a lot, and you got to let the tool do the work. And when it comes to cleaning things or making perfect circles, I had a lot of guys go, well, how do you make them circles so perfect around the tires, I'm like, what a Dremel? And they're like, just no way, man. There's just no way you could take a Dremel and do that. And I'm like, yeah, you can, it's all about, when you mark it out, just not going past the line, and if you can see it,
Yeah.
That's what I use, that's my Dremel. And that thing has a lot of hours on it.
So I first found your group when I was doing the Build Kitty interview. She's an admin for you, right?
Yes.
So go ahead and plug your Facebook pages, and because you have more than one, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm an admin an administrator on 3 groups, and I have 2 groups of my own. Now, how to customize scale models and a little more is an adult group. That's the one that that Amy's on, and she's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Like I told you earlier, I'm not real good with all the, with the computers and apps and this and that, and she got it down, man. I mean, she put together our build off and just killed it, man. I mean, it's awesome. The first group I started was Diorama Tricks and Tips, and we got about 2,000 members in there as well. It's a family-oriented group, and it's just about tips on how to build dioramas, man. And where to get things, and how to scratch build, and all of that other stuff. How to customize scale models is an adult group, like I was saying. No kids allowed, only because when I first got into all of this stuff, with the internet and Facebook and this and that, I had so much trouble with, I hate to say it, my language, and the fact that I like to have fun when I build. I don't want to have somebody shoving something down my throat or in my ear going, man, you can't say that. You can't do that. We had to remove your post. We had to do this. No, man, I'm an adult. I'm 53 years old. I can do it, say as I choose, So that's why I started, the adult group. And, since then, I mean, don't get me wrong. We've had our growing pains, and we've had some problems, and we've had to get rid of a couple of guys that kind of went further than even I would go. And, and that's saying a lot, actually. Oh, but it's a lot of fun, man. I mean, you can say, that's a badass build. I love it. Without an administrator going, no, you can't say that. I don't think so. And once a week we have a free-for-all kind of thing. And the free-for-all in our group is a little different than others. We get some pretty raunchy jokes and, some risque pictures. Nothing ever, nothing too bad, I mean, there's no nudity, things like that. But we have a lot of fun, and I had a couple other admins coming to me, from other pages, like, well, how are you growing so fast? Why are I mean, I've only had the page for 3.5 months. We got 2,000 members. Okay. And I'm like, well, because we allow them to be adults. We allow them to vent when they want to about certain things.
So being a person, not an admin, right?
Mm-hmm.
The cool thing about your group is you don't have to worry about kids being in there.
Yes.
And that I mean, it creates an element that's really free flowing, because there's some groups like I can comment something, but that may not be what my first thought was. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
You really have to be aware of it, and it's totally okay. It's just, different.
Yes. Yep. So, I mean, I'm having a lot of fun with it. We do giveaways. We do, like today, we reached 2,000 members in how to customize today. So, when we got 1,000, I put up there, hey, listen, guess a number between 1 to 1,000. Everybody gets one guess. Person that gets closest gets $25 Hobby Lobby gift certificate. Today I put up, well, we got 2,000 members, so we're gonna do the same thing. Between 1 and 2,000, first person to get it or gets closest without going over gets a $25 gift certificate.
Hey, I need you to pick 475, just so you know.
Yeah. There you go.
No, I thought that was a really unique way to do a giveaway. I saw that today and I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yep. And I started this thing today where one of my admins had mentioned, hey, listen, you're getting all these comments because you've got money involved. I'm like, okay, well, let's try this. So I put up there, the person in August that, has the most interaction on the group during the month of August is going to get a $25 gift certificate. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, I'll have to remember to start posting something every day.
Right?
And that's cool that you can do that kind of stuff at the end of the day. All jokes aside, that's really cool that you're able to do that. And I mean, at this point, who does not have a Hobby Lobby with at least 30 minutes of their house?
That's true. That's true. They are literally everywhere, and they're still building, which amazes me.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I don't remember when it moved into my area, but I used to have to drive like an hour and a half to go to Hobby Lobby.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is you can also use that card online.
Oh yeah.
So even if you live out there in the middle of nowhere, man, you can still use that card. You can order something online and use the card, and they just send it to you.
No, yeah, and I mean, it's really, really cool. And so, other than trucks, what else do you build?
You mean as far as models?
Well, like trucks, you do the regular pickups. What else do you build other than that? Or is that just it?
Oh, no. If it's plastic, brother, I'll build it. It doesn't matter. I mean, I enjoy, I'm really starting to get into some of these bikes. Harley Davidson, I'm doing a Harley Davidson police bike right now. It's a 1/8 scale. So because it's a 1/8, it's got a lot of detail.
And a lot of people, I bet.
Yeah. I have a lot of Chevys, Fords, Dodges, as far as everything from 1934 to 76, 77, I think, 78. Cars, Chevelles, Impalas, things like that. I also have got my Bug. I got Mellow Yellow, actually, and it's a Hemi powered VW Bug, 1968 VW Bug. I need to build a couple more of those, man. I love that thing.
So Mellow, you're talking about the soft drink.
Mellow Yellow, yeah.
Yeah. I think I know which one you're talking about. I think I've seen that kit. It looks like it should be a pretty cool kit. Oh yeah, look at that.
I don't know if you see that.
No, it's really cool. I do like some of the trucks on top. That looks impressive.
Oh yes, sir.
Yeah. And at some point we're gonna let him show the one that's kind of in front of him. The one I think that's the one you just finished, right?
Yes. Yep, that would that one, I don't know. I mean, it started out, believe it or not, as something to practice on for the Harley truck, because I had gotten stumped on the Harley truck. I did the cab, I extended it, I extended the frame, I built the frame cover, and then I just went, okay, what's next? What am I going to do to it? What's going to make it special? And it's like, well, I don't know, because I'm not sure what I want to do with it. So I decided, well, I'll just start on something else and practice on it to see, how that turned out. And it started turning out so good that it was like, oh, well, hell.
There you go. So how with all the things that you build, have you started a YouTube channel at all, or you just not got no time for that?
Right now, with work, building what I want to build, and my, my pages. I just really don't have time to put something like that together.
Okay.
Not to mention that I just don't see doing it in my truck. I mean, so only because it's so cramped in there when I finally got all my tools out, because every time I go to work on my vehicles, my models, I got to pull everything out, lay it all out, get everything in position, get the lighting right. Then I can work on it for a couple hours. Then it takes me half hour, 45 minutes to put everything back away. Unlike a lot of guys, like right now, I'm at home. I can get up from the bench, turn the lights out, go in the bedroom. Go to bed. Not in the truck.
Yeah.
Everything you pulled out, you got to put away. So
wait a minute. I just thought about this. How are you painting in the truck?
I have a spray booth, and I vent it out the window, and I'll just for precautionary members, I have throw blankets that I throw over the seats because I paint in between the two seats. I'll set up I got one of them folding card tables. I'll unfold it, set it between the seats, put that on, and then vent it out the window. Cover the seats, cover the two cabinets on my side, and I haven't had any problems whatsoever with it. Works out good, actually.
No, I mean, because talk about cramped spaces. Are you just airbrush or rattle can?
Rattle cans.
And then you're just going to sleep right after that?
Well, once I get everything put away, yeah.
And that airbrush, the spray booth sends everything out, huh?
Yeah. The thing is that you have to be diligent in replacing the filters. The filters that come with it are junk. Okay. What I use in it is I take fish tank filters. You can get them in huge rolls, big rolls, and they're real thick, and they're the best thing in the world, man. They really are. They will pull everything out, and they won't get paint on my truck on the outside. Because it will grab every bit of it. But I can only use one maybe 3 times. If I want to paint like 3 bodies in a row, I have to change it, because otherwise you start to get that smell in the truck, and at that point, if you can smell the paint, you got to change filter. And you've got to be diligent about it.
And that's why I asked that. I was like, hey, that's my brother's a truck driver, so I know what the cabs look like and everything. And you're like, I can only imagine, like, after a while, that smell just.
Oh, like I said, if you don't change it, it sure will. It sure will. It'll make you high as a kite. Give you a really bad headache.
Yeah, definitely not good for you. That's for sure.
Yeah, no.
Well, so do you have a traveling kit that you take with you?
I got 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 individual boxes and 3 crates for paint.
Whoa. That all goes in the truck, huh?
Yep. Well, see, my truck is set up so that I have an upper bunk and a lower bunk. Well, I sleep in the lower bunk. I got rid of the mattress on the upper bunk, and everything goes up there.
No, that's cool. I could see that. That's pretty cool. So let me see. Where do I want to go next? I want to. So, if you were going to change something about the hobby, what would you change, and why?
Something about the hobby that I would change. Um, I think probably the people that build these models, or not actually build them, they manufacture these models. I think that they need to get off their high horses and listen to us and what we want, not what they think is going to work. You know, I visit a lot of these auction sites, and some of these obscure models that they have, and they go for $2-3 because these manufacturers have decided that, oh, we're going to build, or we're going to make, you know, this car, and it's like that car didn't sell to begin with in real life. What makes you think it's going to sell as a model? You know what I'm saying? And they'll have 100,000 of them sitting somewhere because they couldn't sell. Now, if they were just to ask us what we want, you know, I'm a firm believer that a lot of these models don't come detailed enough. I think that, you know, they should, you know, in 124/25 scale, okay, that they should come with doorknobs. They should come with wires. You know, I believe that us as builders would pay more for a kit if it came with the things that were already in it that we put on them. LED lights, for example. If that kit came with an LED setup, so that when I put it together, I plug it in and the lights work. How much more would I pay for that kit? You know what I'm saying? So I believe that more detail in them would be just amazing.
No, I mean that's a good point. I do think some of the modeling manufacturers don't really care. They're just producing the same kits over and over and over again. I agree with that. But I'd like to see some variety too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what I'd like to see, because you can only build so many 57 Chevys.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, I know there's a lot of guys that just love that car, but
yeah.
So
yeah, I got a friend who he's a Tri-5 guy all day long, man. That's him, you know. And I mean, I agree with you when it comes to, you know, variety. You know, I can't seem to find, and they're out there, but there isn't a lot of them. You know, variety in things like motorcycles, boats, things like that. You know, I mean, that they're out there because they made them years ago, but they don't make them anymore. You know,
yeah.
One other thing that, you know, I would like to see happen in this hobby is, and here's where me and Amy agree on a lot of things, is that I'd love to see more kids in this. You know, I'd love to see a 10-year-old boy or girl sit down and want to build a model, because these days they don't care about nothing like that. You know, between the technology and things like that, you just, I don't know, man. It ain't like it was when we were kids. You know, come in when the light goes, you know, when the street light comes on. You know, how many times can you destroy your bike? You know what I'm saying?
I know, you know about that.
How many times is mom gonna have to take me to the hospital, have stitches put in the back of my head?
Well, I've done stupid shit, but I've never gone that far.
No, man, when we were kids, dude. Oh, you're not gonna believe. I lived in northern Michigan when I was a kid. You know, from the time I was born till I was about 11 years old. When I got to be 9, 10 years old, Mom and Dad would always get us a bike for Christmas, you know. But up there's 5 feet of snow on the ground in the winter. Oh, we didn't care. We lived at the end of the road, and at the end of the, right on the end of the road, and where it dead ended was a farm. We would take our bikes down on Christmas Day. We would take them up a block up the road, and we'd ride as fast, as hard as we could. We'd hit that snowbank and flip up over top and into the snowbank. Man, that was the best time in the world.
Yeah, I used to live at the bottom of the hill, like the house, and then the hill was up. Yeah, I've got some good stories, but they're not YouTube appropriate. So,
oh yeah.
Hey, that's really good to hear, Too Tall. I in a couple weeks we'll get together. So what kind of, other than rattle can, do you use Tamiya? Do you or what glue do you use? Or are you just strictly rattle can?
Right now, strictly rattle can. The wife is talking about getting me an airbrush. I can, I've sprayed cars, real cars before, many times, lots of body work. So it's just adjusted. I think it's just going to be the adjustment. So, but I know a lot about air pressures and things like that. Talking to a couple of guys about using actual automotive paints with it, and what the difference is between shooting something this small compared to, let's say a fender or something like that on a car, on a 1-1 car, and it doesn't seem like it could be much of a difference other than the size. So I'm gonna try, but mostly, rattle cans, is pretty much everything that I use. I will, use regular, and it's all enamel right now. And just a small paints with brushes to do touch up. As far as glue goes, super glue, except for my windshields and everything, I use the.
Oh, that stuff's supposed to be pretty good.
Oh, it is, man. I got some on the windshield the other day from my finger, and I didn't realize it. It hit it, and I was like, oh, hell, And a couple hours later, I went back. You couldn't even see it. You couldn't see it was there. It was gone. It dries absolutely clear on glass and chrome. The only difference is that super glue sets up in 5 minutes. This stuff takes an hour.
Okay.
To where you can actually handle it. It depends on what you're used to. Some guys, that's how they build. They build with something that takes hours to dry. A lot of guys, like I said, use the super glue. I prefer the super glue because I just I'm not a patient person. Believe it or not, I'm just not that much of a patient person. I would have 20 models going at one time if I had to wait on everything to dry.
Yeah, that's a struggle. For real. I understand that one. I try not to have more than 1 or 2 kits out at a time, and that's, part of the figure painting stuff that I've been doing that kind of breaks that up a little bit so I can.
Yeah. You're building figures or painting figures?
Oh yeah, I've been painting figures mostly to help with interior work on cars and stuff. That's originally why I started doing that.
Nice. Yeah, I want to. I've done a few, and I will be doing a lot more once. I just got a 3D printer. I just started printing stuff today, actually. This is like fresh off the bench. So 55 gallon thing. So I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with that. when it comes to things like you're doing, like figures. I when I get into them medieval stuff, the dragons and the gargoyles and all that stuff. So I can't wait to 3D print some of those and paint them. But like I told the wife, I said I'm not touching them till I get an airbrush.
Yeah, airbrushes help. Now, see, Dominic is someone that we need to get in your group, because what he's doing with 3D printing for automotive, like he actually, sorry, Dominic, but the air cleaner for like a 70s GTO, or I don't know what he's actually building. So he in Fusion made the body and the filter and the top to go on it.
Oh, nice.
So, like I said, Dominic's someone that you need to get in your group.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the main reasons I wanted this 3D printer so bad was I kept seeing all these carburetors. It's 124, 25 scale carburetors. It just blew me away. I'm like, wow, that looks so real. Where do you get them? You didn't get them in a kit. Where are you getting them? And it's like somebody said, well, they're 3D printing them. And I'm like, well, that's it. I said that was the main reason, was them carburetors, man. I want to get into, being able, when I show a motor, on my pro streets, and I want to be able to get that motor to where eventually it looks like it would run, but you can't buy the parts without paying an arm and a leg for a piece of plastic not much bigger than an ear swab. And it's like, I'm gonna figure it out eventually, that's for sure.
So, can you see the question? It's on your screen.
Yeah, I'm looking. What's the group called? My the adult group is how to customize scale models and a little more. A little is one word, ALITTLE. A little more.
And if Amy was nice, she'd put it in the comments, the link. If she was nice.
Right.
Since she's super late.
Hey, baby girl.
So what's a future build that you're going to be doing?
Well, I've got a few ideas. Starting with the Harley Davidson rig. I got to finish that up. I got to build off in one of the groups that I'm a member of. He does a monthly build where this time it's a motorcycle. That's what that police bike is for. So I'm working on that. Future is going to be, when I go back out this next month, is going to be mostly, I have some trailers to build to match some of the trucks that I've got back here. Mostly the Black Betty, which is this one right here. I got to build a trailer for that one. And the blue one that's sitting in front of me, I'm building a reefer trailer for that one. And then I want to do a trailer for the Harley Davidson. We're going to do a flatbed so that I can put, a bunch of motorcycles on the back of the flatbed.
Yes. So that's a really, that's really, really cool that you can take a bunch of stuff to work on, right?
Yeah. Well, like I said, like tonight, when I'm done talking with you, I am going to sit back. I have 3 trailers, a flatbed, a regular 53-foot reefer, and a 53-foot smooth side. And I'm going to paint all the big parts because I can't paint them, on the truck with one booth. I got it set up here, and I'll show you real quick. See if you can see it. Can you see that booth?
Oh, wow.
Okay, I got that set up so that I can do the trailers and the frames and things like that, and that way they're painted and dry, and then like I said, all the small parts, the little parts underneath, the tandems and this and that can all be done on the truck because I have the ability to do that on the truck now. But I don't have nowhere to paint these long frames. I mean, one of these is like 2 feet long, man. I mean, I don't know if you know much about these things, but I mean, here, hold on, I'm gonna start here. I mean, this thing is huge, brother. That's the flatbed, and it's huge. So
Yeah.
it's just way too big to paint on the truck. And then, like I said, put them together on the truck. I do have a place where I can put the trailers in a bin, and then I cover them, with packing stuff so that it doesn't get screwed up. But you're bouncing a lot around in that truck, so you just got to be careful a lot.
So with everything we've talked about tonight, right? If you could go back and tell your younger self something about the hobby, what would you tell your younger self?
Don't stop. Don't stop building. No matter what, don't stop. Don't let don't let life get in your way. And learn about styrene. Honestly, learn what plastic is, man, before you go trying to customize something. I mean, back in the day when you can't afford all the little cool things, the Model Master etchings and all this other stuff to put on your car because you don't have $50 when you're in the 70s and 80s when you're young to put into a model. You have to figure out how to do it. And like I said, styrene they had it then, and I didn't know about it. I didn't realize anything about flat styrene until, I don't know, probably 6 months ago, 8 months ago. So.
No, I can see that. I could see that being a good tip. I know for me, it would be like how to learn how to run an airbrush. That's what I'd tell my younger self. That's what I'd tell myself.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as Badger has their sale coming on, I think it either started today or it starts tomorrow.
Badger's got one going?
Yeah, he talked about it last week in the video. I don't know if it came across very well because we were having a lot of internet issues. But
yeah.
He's having a non-con sale. So basically, if you go to a convention and you walk up to the Badger booth, he sells the airbrushes for a lot cheaper you'd see online, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to do that until they sell out, I think. If I remember right, I think he said until they sell out. So I didn't look, I have not had time today to see if it started today, but I think it starts tomorrow.
Okay.
So yeah. Oh yeah, here you go. See, he just sent a request. There you go. So
it's funny. I'll tell you what. When it comes to how to customize scale models and a little more, we turn down more than we actually let in the group. Believe it or not, we're getting 100 requests a day, if not more. And if it isn't for not answering the questions properly, and the biggest thing for me as far as the questions go is I want to make sure that that person that wants to get in the group is going to understand, has got to understand that at any given time, mostly Fridays, but at any given time, if they click on my group, there might be a scad, there might be a woman in a bikini. There might be a really bad joke. You know what I'm saying? And they need to know that, and there's just too many times you see people who just go, request. And then 3 days into them being a member, they're going, well, wait a minute. That has nothing to do with modeling. And you're going, well, yeah, duh. Hence a little more. So we're going, me and Amy and Don are all going, well, wait a minute, you didn't read it? I mean, come on, So we're real strict about who gets in and who doesn't. I mean, we had a gentleman, and I'm not saying names, but we had a gentleman who requested to be a member, and in the questions, and he didn't even answer all the questions, but in the top questions, the first question that we asked him, do you build models? If you don't build models, I don't want you in my group. It's a model group, duh. So so he goes, his answer is yes. Me and my 13-year-old daughter build models together. So the first thing we did was try to message this young man and let him know, this is an adult group. There's no place for your 13-year-old daughter. Just really isn't, So it's things like that get me when it comes to the adult group part of it.
Yeah. See. Yeah. And it's nothing. It's nothing that I've seen worse in other groups actually. But it's actually a pretty good group. At the end of the day, it's a pretty good group of people.
Yeah.
I think Amy's been taking like Thursdays or Wednesdays off lately, but so it's gotten kind of hilarious at times, but it
is definitely fun.
Yeah. So I try to keep these to about an hour.
Okay.
At the end of each thing, if you have any questions for me, you can ask me whatever you want. Okay.
Yeah.
Because, huh?
No, go ahead.
No, you can ask me anything you like. I mean, it's only fair. I get to ask you all kinds of questions. I just
right.
Option at the end.
Right. Are you an admin?
Am I an admin? I am for one group.
Okay.
And then I do have a Facebook page that goes with the YouTube channel, but it just never gets any traction. So it is basically just a place for me to post stuff at times.
Right.
But I'm on most of the groups. There's so many groups now.
Oh, I know.
With the pandemic, it's even worse. But
which
is awesome. I mean, and that's the cool thing about Facebook. If there's so many groups now, if you can't find a group that you fit in, instead of pointing the finger, you need to pull the thumb. Because, I mean,
that's true. That is absolutely true, brother. I mean, I'm a member of a lot of groups. I really am. But a lot of it has to do with a lot of these people are my friends. They're friends on Facebook. Some of them are personal friends. I've made so many friends doing this. My first one, Diorama Tricks and Tips, I started 7 months ago. Right at the end of my hiatus from work, and I have made so many close friends with this. I really have. I mean, people who I would do anything for, anything. I mean, if I needed to divert my truck somewhere to go help somebody, I don't have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? My phone is always on, 24 hours a day. And the cool part about it is that my friends that I've made, they're the same way. You know, until this Facebook thing, I think I have 4 friends in 20 years. I've got 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 friends now that I could count on for almost anything. And for me, that is awesome. And I'm having so much fun with this and enjoying it so much. And, a lot of the things that I build is for my friends. It's for the people that I interact with all the time because they enjoy what I build. They like seeing what I do. And it's like, oh, I can't wait. I'll get up in the morning. I can't wait to get this done because, this person or that person's going to love this, So, I mean, I have so much fun with it. Now, what is your favorite thing to build?
So I like cars. Don't get me wrong, I like cars, but I actually get into the helicopter builds.
Nice.
I've done a couple of Apaches. I've done the Russian helicopter.
Yep.
Those seem to be really cool, but I have it's like a Revell level 4, but it's a helicopter. It's only going to be probably that big, but it's mostly glass.
Yeah.
I like that. I've gotten into the 3D printing a little bit, so I've gotten a bunch of figures and stuff that I've printed out. I can grab one if you want to see one. But like I've printed out the Terminator head.
Oh,
for the
nice.
Skeleton.
Do you remember back in the day? I think it was probably 30 years ago when Terminator first came out. You remember the 16-inch tall models that they used to have?
So
of the Terminator?
So are you talking about the thing with tracks and it like you could light it up, I think, in the kit?
No. This was just, it was a figure, and it was of the Terminator before and after. One with the leather jacket, and part of his face was missing, and I think part of his knee.
Oh, yeah.
One of his hands was metal, and then you had the T2. Same thing. It was about 18 inches tall. Man, I remember getting those and building those. It was so much fun. I can't find them nowhere.
They're very rare kits. I think everybody that wanted one got one and then built it.
Yep.
I don't think there's one out there in a stash anywhere. And if there is, it's very rare.
Very.
But yeah, I got into the Warhammer stuff.
Oh, okay.
That was another thing I've gotten into. Basically, anything you see on this wall, I've built. The box art wall.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and that's the thing about my group also, brother, is that it isn't just about vehicles. You can post anything. That's why it's called custom scale models, not custom scale model cars.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
It is anything that we build. If it's, if we put our hands on it and we fix it or change it or paint it or glue it together or like you said, 3D print it and then make it look real, make it look really cool with paint. That's what that group's about.
Yeah, Dustin, that's really cool but they're very, very rare kits. It is crazy how yeah, very, very cool kit, dude. I remember both those. And I think my parents got me the Independence Day alien.
Oh,
it's got to be this big when it's all put together. That thing was cool to put together, but I put that together when I was like, when did that come out for me? I don't think I was 18 yet. I was still in school, I think. No, here. I'll grab some of these figures. Yeah, see. I actually got to print this guy. See this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Here, check this out.
Yeah, that's sweet. Oh, yeah.
And then
the one in front of you in gray, what is that one?
I'll show you in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, but here's Lord Vader.
Lord Vader. Did you 3D print that?
Yeah, this is all
Sweet.
3D printed. I just printed this one out to see how it would turn out.
Uh-huh.
I'm probably gonna end up doing another one. Well, at some point I do want to print, but this is the Predator.
Oh yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about right there, brother. I can't wait to see that painted.
I've technically I'm like a year behind painting this one. This one was my mom has the first one.
Uh-huh.
So my mom had one, so my dad wanted one.
Okay.
So, it's the request of the parents, you got to make them happy. They spent half a fortune on you when growing up, so you can't make them feel bad. But no, I've kind of gotten into that. I just got a resin printer this year, and at some point I'm gonna have to sit down and figure out how to get that thing to work. But yeah, for the most part, that's basically what I do. I try not to limit myself to just one topic. I try to keep it, and that's how I don't get burnt out either. Because I go from Warhammer to figure to car to truck to Star Trek to Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
That's how I keep myself from not getting burnt out. But that's just Any other questions for me?
When are we go see some of your stuff?
I've posted a couple things on the thing. I posted the truck.
Yep.
I mean, the truck I just finished. The truck turned out really, really good. I love how this turned out.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw that one. That was yours. Yep. Nice. Yep, I remember that one.
The decals turned out good. I like this black paint that I found. It's actually a primer, so I've been airbrushing that quite a bit.
Yeah.
I want to try to actually do some tests where I put tape on it and see if it'll leave the actual, like you spray it over, or like the green or orange over it.
Yeah.
And so if the orange and green will stay on the model. That's what I got to do next.
Cool.
Because if I can tape some stuff off, that stuff's going to be awesome.
Well, one of the tricks that I use when it comes to taping these lines, one is using a really good tape, like I said. But once you got it in place, is to make sure that you rub it down. Have you ever used BMF?
Bare metal foil?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? No, I have not.
Okay. How can I explain it?
I understand the concept of it, but
you got to make sure that you rub it, the tape, real good. Not with your fingers, but with something a little harder, whether it be wood or plastic. Try not to use metal, because you don't want to scratch what you already have there, or the plastic itself. But use something that is blunt, and push that tape down into place all the way everywhere around, man. Make sure you get it, and once you got it all taped off, You get almost ready to paint, do it again. Okay?
Oh,
And then
okay.
once you do that and you spray your color on, make sure you leave that there to dry. You know? And then when you pull it off, it'll give this crispest, straightest lines you've ever had.
If you do it right.
Yeah.
That's usually, and I mean this, it's usually this guy's fault when something messes up.
Right?
It's not the tape, it's not the airbrush, it's not the paint, it's not the primer, it's this freaking idiot.
Right?
Well, anyway, man, I wanted to say thank you for coming on. It's been
no problem. It was a blast.
I'm glad we were able to make this work, even if it was during the week. I don't know how many of these I'm actually going to do. I know there's going to be one more, and that's for I'm trying to get Mini Dreams to come on here.
Oh, nice.
I'm wheeling and dealing, right? I've been trying really hard to get him on here because he's like in the automotive groups and stuff. He knows a bunch of techniques, and
oh yeah,
I want to get him on here bad.
Yeah.
But you know, he works weekends, I don't, so we have to work it out, right?
Right.
But anyway,
and you're on the West Coast too, so.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, just okay. Well, obviously someone just knocked on my door. Anyway, I thank you for coming on, and I will
Thanks for having me.
I will talk to you a couple minutes when we get off here. Okay?
Okay, cool.
All right, everybody. So that was Joe. A little bit different format tonight. We did learn quite a bit. I mostly wanted to plug his group. Really cool group. I've really started to really enjoy that, what I see on that group for builds, and a bunch of talented people. Even Amy, there's not a lot of experience there, but you can see she follows everybody and gets good tips, and yeah. So Sunday, I'm interviewing James Darby. That's his up next. I will see you guys on Sunday. All right? See y'all later. Bye.